live. Okay, hello, you guys. If you have experienced money shame and you don't know what to do about it, this is the perfect episode because we are talking about the 3 steps to financial forgiveness today with Reverend Karen Russo. Welcome to Unsermon with Kat Kim. This is episode number 6. For those of you guys that are new to me, I am a spiritual teacher, leadership coach, founder of the School of Divine Confidence. I am the person that's going to help you overcome your fears, blocks, and shame so that you can step into the best version of yourself and truly make a difference. I am so excited for this episode. We are talking about money shame and financial trauma this entire month. We have a very special guest on today. Her name is Karen Russo, Reverend Karen Russo. She is an award-winning author of the book called The Money Keys. She is the creator of the Money Momentum Mastery System for entrepreneurs and spiritual seekers and creatives. She has over 25 years of experience in the corporate world as a top salesperson. She has an MBA from Columbia. And here's my favorite part. She is an ordained Centers for Spiritual Living minister. I am so excited to have you on, Karen Russo.
Yes. Well, it's great to be here. I'm just so happy to be with you, Kat. And what an important topic for us to be working with. And I'm honored that you're working with this all month. I think that's great.
It's a big topic. And I think when it comes to money and when it comes to shame, it's a topic that people are afraid to talk about.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to bring this to the table mainly because this is something that I'm going through right now. I did not plan for the month of February to be all about money shame at all. But as I shared with my audience in the last Unsermon, and I've also shared with you, Reverend Karen, is that as I'm on this trajectory of growth, I'm growing very quickly. All of my money shame is coming up for me. Yeah. And last week I got very vulnerable. I cried, didn't want to, but it happened. And I talked about, my father's gambling addiction and how it's really just been so hard. I feel like I'm carrying the weight of my shoulders, the weight of the world on my shoulders. I feel and I hear all these voices about money telling me basically, and this is my journal right here, that I can't do it. I'm a fraud. The money really isn't yours. You should be ashamed. I'm just reading it here. This isn't success. This is fraud. You're a fake. All of these things are coming up for me. And I shared all of that last week. And this is why I wanted you to come on. Because I think there's so much about financial forgiveness. There's so much about forgiveness in all of this. And I loved what you have on your website and what you're all about, of course. And so I wanted to bring you on to teach all of us who are experiencing this, like, what do we do with this shame? Like, what are our first steps and where do we go with it?
Yes. Well, the first step you have done, which is you have to face what really did happen in the past. And then also you've absolutely got to face what's literally the voices in the head right now that are happening for you. So I just want everybody who's connecting with this, whether it's now or in replay, to give Kat a lot of love because you're doing it. Like you're doing it. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, they've been amazing and they're always giving me love. And what can we say? So basically you're saying the first step is to face the thing.
Yeah. Well, I would say, and we'll just give the highlights of the 3 steps. I mean, the first is always to face what it is. The second is to understand when you face it's almost always what happened in the past.
Yeah.
And the second step is to be aware of how is it showing up for you now. So for you, it's showing up as the mental blocks that are seeping in as you're about to expand your business and your ministry in the world, right? So what was the past? Be accurate. How is it showing up now? And then the third step is being willing to release that judgment and choose something new. So it's a very, the steps for financial forgiveness are very similar to what it would be as if you were, I have a 12-step background. If you were releasing a resentment about someone, you got to get clear what it is, see your own character defect or judgment, and then let it go. So there's kind of a natural process.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Well, and the thing is, the other thing I want to point out is that for most everybody, we are likely to be unconsciously either replicating or rebelling against the financial modeling of our past. And to
Oh,
make it conscious is really helpful.
okay. Tell us more about that. What does that mean? Let's unpack that. So we,
Yeah, I mean, it's a good one, isn't it? Well, I'll tell a story in one positive aspect of this. So
Mhm.
I grew up on the East Coast of the United States, and I grew up in a family that like a middle class, semi-ethnic family. My dad is first generation Italian American. My mom was the daughter of an Irish nurse and a Jewish school teacher. So she became a teacher and her sister became a nurse. And one of the things from my family upbringing is my parents had a very fair and ethical partnership when it came to money. There was a sense of we're in this together.
Mhm.
So we could do an entire unsermon about the challenges of the family, but that was positive. So one of the things that my mom used to do is she would pay cash for gas or groceries, and then she'd write on these little slips of paper, scrap paper, because she was a teacher. She'd write the amounts and she'd pin those little pieces of paper to this bulletin board in the kitchen. And my dad would take those pieces of paper and he would keep records of the family expenses. And as he passed a couple of years ago, there's still folders of this, 1983, what did the Russo family? So fast forward, I got married late in life, and my expectation was we'd have a fair partnership. So Bill is doing the Quicken, and I'm taking little yellow Post-it notes, just like Mother used to do, and I'm
Mhm.
them up on the side of his monitor so he can put them into the Quicken. And it was sweet, and it was very much like that's what it was a positive replication of past modeling.
So I want to repeat this because this is not going to, we replicate the past models of money.
Or we rebel against. So your
Oh,
situation, so
mhm.
sometimes the person who's rebelling against, a parent or a family member was a hoarder, that person will become a spender. Or I kind of wonder for you with what happened with your father, like
Yeah,
where would you say, like, are you doing some rebelling or some replicating?
I am replicating. I am replicating, and I've really identified these thoughts that are not real. They're not mine. I'm not a fraud. I'm not a fake.
Yeah.
But it's like these feelings are really living inside of me, and I realized just through this whole entire healing journey, and I want people who are listening to really get this, that sometimes these thoughts and feelings are not just ours, that they have been passed down to us from our family. And that's what happens with family trauma and things in the past that have not healed. So this is why I'm very, very, when I talk about the mainstream spiritual teachings that say what you think is what you create, that's not entirely accurate because we're so connected to our family lineage and what's in the unconscious in our group family dynamic that is passed down. So I'm absolutely replicating these feelings of, like, oh my God, I'm doing something bad. And I realize that now in hindsight, this is what my father must have felt every single time he made money gambling. Like there was a sense of rush, of course, because of the gambling addiction, but then it was never really an honest way of making money. And he always felt this sense of guilt, and then it went away because why have the money? It's not really yours. So there's like shame and guilt tied into that. So I'm definitely replicating the energy around it. I'm not a gambler, but the energy of it for sure.
Yes. Well, and I'd even ask yourself, is the idea of gambling like taking risk?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how are you relating to
that? That is so good.
Because,
oh my God.
Like, are you risking your future well-being by overpaying over here or not saving for yourself or putting yourself more at risk?
Oh my God. Mic drop. Okay.
Unsermon. Okay.
Okay, everyone who's listening. Wow. Okay, so I don't know if you know this part about me, but I used to be a drug dealer.
Of course. Yeah.
And I used to transport copious amounts of drugs from Washington State to California on the plane. It was easy money. Talk about being risky. Talk about,
But like, yeah.
oh my God. That makes so much sense. And so what is showing up for me now and why I'm so grateful for this money shame, because this is really important, people, that when this stuff is coming up, it's not because you're wrong. It's not because you're doing something wrong. It's just ready to be healed. But I think there's like deep layers of like my feelings around money that are attached to ickiness that I'm just ready to clear and clean, not just on a personal level, but also on a business level. So I'm really beginning to see, okay, you know what? I want to clean all of this up. And even with my marketing strategies and tactics, I want to be clean and I want to be honest about it. And so I'm very sensitive now to, marketing tactics that are not aligned in integrity. So it's like, it's so good that this is all happening.
Absolutely. So you're a living, like living, breathing. I can feel the you're a living, breathing example of the first step, which is, this is just like any kind of inventory process. You want to be accurate and complete and compassionate about what has been. And so I would even recommend for you, what you might even do, because the numbers, especially if you've said clean, is to capture somewhere, and this would be on a piece of paper that's going to get burned or something like that, so you're going to be letting it go, but capture the data. So how much money in the drugs, or how much this, or what was at risk, put the numbers on a piece of paper. This is for everybody who's listening. You do want to, if you have a financial decision that you made, like I had some investment decisions that I made where it's good to remember how much principal was invested in things that at the time my instinct said, this is too good to be true. If your instinct is saying that, okay.
Did you hear that, people?
Did you hear it? So get accurate about the numbers and what happened. And that really is the first step, because in order to have any kind of change, you do want to be accurate and compassionate about what has been and what's so. And the accuracy piece is that thing you said about we don't want to be too surface in our metaphysics, that it's just, if I have an affirmation, that's exactly what's going to happen in my life. We get who we are. We create from our entire being. And also our connection to a larger consciousness. You want to be accurate.
In other words, like, don't be afraid, you guys. Don't be afraid to face, like, the first step, to face what's there, because that's the only way you can get to the deepest root of it and then be able to heal that deep root. And since I'm on this journey, I want to just let you guys know, it doesn't all go away in one sitting. First of all, there's going to be layers to this, but trust that Spirit God is giving you exactly what you are able to take on in the moment. Whatever is showing up for you is ready to be healed. And so even though it's uncomfortable, even though it's hard, trust me that it's so rewarding. I started this journey several years ago, and what I began to do, Reverend Karen, is I began tracking, like you said, every single penny that went through my account. And I even I went back 2 or 3 years and I started tracking. It took days, it took weeks to do that, but it was almost like it was a practice that I had to learn how to do. And now I'm very, very good at it. But when I began doing it, I was so overwhelmed. I was terrified. I didn't want to do it. I resisted it, yet I still walked into that. So if you guys are feeling the resistance, that's a good sign, and it's okay. Walk into it.
So the first step, face it, accurate, tell the story. And it might even be that you write it out like Kat has in her journal, and then that's something that you share with a counselor or a prayer partner, and you release it. Because then you want to see what's present right now, because before you can let it go, you want to know, how am I in my mind? And really, we create our money experience through spirituality, beliefs, and habits. through our consciousness of abundance, like what do we really believe? How connected do we believe we are to something greater?
Yeah.
Through our beliefs. And belief is thought plus emotion held in place by repetition and intensity. So, our beliefs aren't just the passing thought, they're the thoughts that we energize. And then we create our financial experience through our habits, through the behaviors that we engage in.
Yeah.
So you want to say, like, currently, what am I doing? Am I telling myself I'm a fraud, feeling uncomfortable, and then pushing money away because I'm trying to protect myself from the ickiness? Like, just know, like, you want to be really clear. What am I responsible for now around my money? And that's the thing, the part where it's shameful is what you're telling yourself about who you are, which is different than what you've done. So you all know it's a simple idea, but more guilt is more about regret about the behavior. Shame is more the hatred of who I am. And that's why shame is so devastating to us, because it's about the very nature of who we are.
Yeah, right. So can you say that piece again about what we are thinking and what we are feeling, and then the habit part?
Sure.
Say that. You said it so beautifully.
So we create our experience of money through three things: spirituality, our connection with the greater; our beliefs, which is our thought; our emotional reaction to our thought, held in place by repetition and intensity.
Wow.
So beliefs are the sum total of what we're thinking, feeling, saying to ourselves and with others. But the third place where we create our money experience is through our habits. And I almost think about what we're doing on the keyboards. It's like the systems and the behaviors we have with money. So all three together are almost like a wealth yoga.
Yeah, I love it. And the reason I wanted you on is because you are an ordained Centers for Spiritual Living minister. For those of you that are not familiar with that terminology, basically, it's a minister who has studied metaphysics. And this is what I'm so passionate about. It's like the metaphysics of God and spirituality. So can you say a little bit more about that first part, the spirituality part, like that connection to that part of us that's bigger?
Yes. I wrote my first book, The Money Keys, which you see back there. Yeah, I wrote that. I was writing it in 2005, 2006. So it's, a while ago. And I'm getting to the spirituality piece. And where my inspiration came from is, at the time, I was deep in the study of metaphysics. And I was at a center in Los Angeles called Agape, which many people know Dr. Michael Beckwith. You've seen him on Oprah's Soul Sunday and all that. So I was deep in my studies of the science of mind, very active in the spiritual communities. And what I noticed there is I had this money and professional background, but I'd look around, and in all my spiritual classes, these beautiful souls, people who were, they believed in a power greater than themselves, that was the presence of the divine around us. It is everywhere present. It's within us. We are one with it. We're not separate from God or Creator. They had these beautiful spiritual consciousness, but I'm just going to be real. People were like broke all the time and struggling with money. What's that about? I would say.
What's that about?
Well, and then at the same time,
this is really, really, really big. I know this is going to hit so many people and resonate with them, because not just in like those organized groups like Centers for Spiritual Living or Agape, but in the mainstream spiritual world, it's all about abundance and thinking positive. And there's a world of, you can have whatever you want, but why is everyone struggling then with money? Like that, you're hitting on something really, really important, which is very passionate about this topic. So please.
Exactly. Well, and so, that's what I was noticing. I was noticing people would, and it wasn't, so there would be this aspiration, but just not able to live it out.
Yes.
At the same time, I was going to all of these wealth building workshops. And you all, some of you will remember, it's like, you've got a millionaire mind. High five. I'm going to break a board. I'm going to, I'm going to do tax liens in the middle of the night. Let's buy some real estate. Just, and it's like you're in this program and all of a sudden it's, Saturday night at 9:30 at night. And you're like, I should spend $12,000 on this program about tax liens. So,
Oh my God.
and this was, 15 years ago, but, I'd be calling my husband on one of those old big phones, like, hi, sweetheart, I've invested in. And what I noticed in those environments is people had tactics, Kat. They had tons of tactics and strategies, and they did believe in mindset.
Yeah.
I've got a millionaire mind. I want to think like a rich person,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
very much missing any sense of a connection to something greater.
Yes.
So do you kind of hear how it's like I was in these two worlds and I said, how do we bring it all together?
Right.
So that's where what I would call the money keys is a holistic framework about money. Yes, it's the spirituality, which is the surrender to something greater.
Yeah.
Then it's also mindset and belief, and it's the behaviors and systems and tactics. So
Wow.
the area of spirituality is like if you have money fear, more money is not going to solve it.
Right. Exactly.
It's not, because the fear will come back because the fear is separation.
100%.
The only thing that solves it is that connection to something greater. So a spiritual security can only come from spiritual connection.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. And this is what I'm all about that. Like we have to take our focus and our attention away from the outside physical world, bring it in and connect with that source, God, source, universe, source, spirit, whatever name you have for it. And that's the practice. That's the practice. Oh, so beautiful. Okay. So that's step
we're
two.
sort of in step two, like where, what's the consciousness? What habits am I engaged in? What am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
The step three is the choice to have it be different. And this is really the creative choice. It's what do I want to create? And if you all have been listening, what are the words that Kat's been saying? I want to clean this up. I went through a process of tracking every penny, which you don't need to do unless you need to do it. Like you'll know, like for some people being that clean and that specific, that's how you want to do it. But what do you want to choose? So I call that you're going to create the new money story. And the good news is you can do that from this moment. So step three is what is the money story you want to create?
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, and go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, and the basis of this is sometimes we think of money as this thing, and this is often like, why is it so tough for spiritual people? I do think there's a religious legacy in there, which is, the idea that if one is religious, you should be pious and reject things of this world, which isn't even really in the doctrines or the teaching. So for those that have a Christian background, what Paul said is the love of money when it separates us from God. That's the root of all evil. So money, and if you look at the major religions of the world, or you look at even like I've done the practice of Vipassana meditation, which is the meditation practice that the Buddha did 2,500 years ago.
Yeah.
That meditation practice has been taught, passed from monk to monk to monk to monk. And that organization all prospers through what's called Dhamma. Dhamma, you give. People who've had the practice give. It's generous, it's sufficient. Like it's okay for spiritual and religious things to be financially supported. Yeah. And
I was going to say, I'm reading a book right now by a Jewish rabbi. Wasn't planning on that, but it just happened to be so. And it's called Thou Shalt Prosper. And the first commandment is to accept business activities as having integrity and being moral. And it really emphasized how in the world right now, there's so much talk and There's a lot of slandering against making money and big businesses and corporations, partially, which is true, okay? But when we hear that a lot, you know, it seeps into our consciousness, and then there's like a film of like guilt and shame that begins to build, and that first commandment has been like, it's really been powerful for me, because I'm like, okay, yes, my business is absolutely moral. There's nothing wrong with making money and prospering and being abundant. There is so much good. In fact, there is only good. There's only good. And I feel so good when I say that. That's been my healing so far, just in the last couple of weeks. And that's where I'm at right now. So it's just
beautiful. Well, that's the money story you're creating. You're in step 3 of your financial forgiveness. I'm letting go of fraud and shame and hiding, and I'm stepping into my business is moral. My circulation of money is a moral expression.
That just hit me in my heart and soul, Reverend Karen. That's perfect. That's exactly what is happening. Oh, it's so beautiful. Because what I was going to ask you, my question around creating the new story is, you know, sometimes we've all done this with the abundance teachings and, you know, meditations and affirmations. Like, how do you know, say to yourself that you're living in a, you know, imagine yourself in your big millionaire house and you're doing this and you're doing that. And it just, how do we know when that's the thing we want? Or, in other words, how do we know what is our true new money story versus one we're taking on and we're borrowing from the consumer culture, essentially?
That's a great question. You know, I would start with something I'll call money purpose. So money purpose it's like vision for your money. And it's when I first was doing the contemplation about the money keys, I was with my dear friend, Reverend Jennifer Hadley. We were sitting, it's hard not to be inspired. We were sitting in Manhattan Beach, California, at an outdoor place where you could see the water and eat your fish taco. I mean, you know, so we were not suffering.
Yeah.
And I was talking about writing this book about a spiritual approach to money. And what just kept bubbled up, Jennifer said the words, you know, it's not about the money. It's what's the money for? What's the money for? And your answer to that question is what I call money purpose. So you'll know that there's an inspiration guiding what you're doing with money if you've got a sense of serving some purpose. So for example, people know Reverend Edwene Gaines is a prosperity teacher, and her money purpose statement is, I serve God, money serves me. Pretty simple. But, you know, so I would just encourage, like, Kat, what are you up to with the work that you're doing and the women that you're empowering and the business owners and the metaphysicians that you are teaching and working with? What's the purpose of what you're up to? It's to free people from their past bondages.
I love that.
So when you're doing that, the circulation of money that is generous to you and empowers the growth of your team and your business, that's a healthy moral flow.
Exactly.
And don't be shy if you want cute boots, because I just feel like you should have cute boots, or a certain kind of vehicle or a house that's fantastic. Like, so I don't have, this is one of the things that's like, you know, if I was, you know, sometimes you talk to someone who's like a sex therapist and you just know that there's no, like you could talk to them about anything you're into and they would be like, that's fine, dear. And I'm that way about money. Like, you could want, you know, there's nothing you're going to want, no number you're going to say that's going to shock me. It's just, it's okay to want what you want. Money is a tool for your expression, like language or technology. It is not a thing in and of itself that's good or evil.
Exactly. I love it. So what I'm hearing about step 3 in the new money story is to really be aware and conscious that when you're creating your new money story, it's not a story that is about, I'm in a place of scarcity. I need these things and I want to pay my rent and I want to do this. That's like, how can I get money for me? But you're talking about creating a money story about what do I want to do with this money? How do I want that divine circulation to flow through me? And when it comes to me, how am I going to give and serve? And what is it going to do? Or like, what is it going to buy as well?
Absolutely. And don't leave yourself out. It's really okay to say, I want to have my rent consistently paid so that I can be at my absolute best in terms of loving my family and serving my community and taking care of myself. So, Marianne Williamson used to say on one of her old like audio cassettes on love and money, she would say, a person who takes care of themselves is a beautiful thing. Like the capacity for just to be self-supporting through our own contributions in our own life. That's a beautiful and moral thing.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. Okay. So the 3 steps are, number 1, face the thing, be ready to face the thing, right? Face your money challenges, face your money problems, right? Step 2 is, can you repeat step 2? I have so many notes here.
So 1 is really face all the accuracy about what happened. So tell the original story, tell the story of the past.
Okay.
Step 2 is own how it's operating today. So really be accurate about what's the consciousness that you're holding on to that's causing you to feel shame. It's a judgment of some kind against yourself and against the world.
Right. And then is that where the forgiveness piece would come in? Like,
I think the forgiveness is almost like the beauty between 2 and 3.
right.
So I noticed that I'm hearing a voice that says, you're a fraud, you can't do this. All right. So I am willing to release this. In order for me to create a new money story, I have to step forward. That's the forgiveness.
Okay, beautiful. And then that 3rd step is to create a new story, money story, based on what you want the money purpose to be.
Yes.
How you want the purpose of your money to be. I love it. I have one more question for you. I scoured your website. I love it. I've followed you for, I think, 1.5 or 2 years. I heard you speak at a convention about 2 years ago, I think. Yeah. And you talk about being the leader of your money. And my audience are emerging leaders. They're leaders. They're people who are stepping into leadership. And I love this term because I haven't heard of that. I love it. Tell me what that is. How do we be a leader of our money?
This is the difference between money being a problematic thing and money being a tool for our expression.
Yeah.
So it's building on like a very simple thing of how you use language. Language can be profound or profane. How you use technology, transformative, trivial.
Yeah.
Money is a tool for your expression. So to lead the money means it's taking proactive responsibility for what your money experience is. It's the awareness that money is fueling a purpose that you're living into. And then the final piece about money leadership is something called money momentum, which is the rhythm of money. And money loves rhythm.
Oh, say more, please.
So, we tend to think of a lot of the models, and this is interesting because you were saying some of these marketing models, and you can hear it, and even, I've certainly, I have a 4-part video training series that's called Unconscious Money Mistakes. And we didn't call it a neck rub about your money because nobody would want that. What you want to do is so there's a little bit in marketing that is, you have to talk about the problem and, you get this bonus if you buy it now. If you buy it later, you don't get it. So there's a little bit of that, which is just human psychology and helping people focus and make a decision.
Yeah.
But there's the shadowy underbelly there is that we always have to have more money, and that wherever we're at now is not enough, and you got to go there later. Whereas what people who have a sufficient, inspiring, experience of money, they understand it's not just about getting more. And that's where the rhythm of money comes in. So rhythm is based on the law of circulation, which is all of life is giving and receiving. Everything that's created is created from stillness and activity. That beautiful place of we breathe in, we breathe out, vitality, music, relationship, there's flow.
Yeah.
Like when we understand, like I coach in a lot of different programs where we have entrepreneurs, some of which one gal, she wanted to first she wanted to double her income. Now she's in this program for another year. She doesn't want to double her income. She wants to reduce her hours uh,
Oh,
by 25%.
yeah.
It's just like, do you kind of like
Yeah.
just this like ability to realize money loves rhythm. If my life has a sustainable rhythm, not that
Yeah.
it's dull, not that I'm not going anywhere, but it's sufficient, it's healthy, it's vital. We
Yeah.
don't, we sleep and awake,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
we listen and we talk.
Oh,
Money has more of that seasonality and rhythm. And when we understand that, we like include it in our lives.
oh, that is so beautiful. It's like all things. I can tell you're a Vipassana meditator. I am as well. It's the law of impermanence. All things rise and all things fall.
Yeah.
All things are in motion at all times, and things come and things go. And when we can ride that wave, we can really relax into the momentum of all things,
All
including
things.
I love that so much. And I think this is so important for people to understand and to really um, like surrender to, especially now, because, these old structures are breaking away now. This toxic masculine energy of growth, 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 upward, like linear upward swing towards wherever it's, limitless according to many people. It's not sustainable. It's not working. And that's really what's causing so much strife and conflict in our world today. Clearly, if y'all haven't noticed. And I love this just kind of return to the rhythm and natural flow and momentum of life.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so, so, so beautiful. Oh my gosh. As you're talking, Reverend Karen, I'm like, should I take notes now? No, stop taking notes. Pay attention. And I'm like, wait, I think I just go back and listen to this. So that's what I do. That's my conclusion. I'm going to go back. I'm going to listen to our conversation today because there's so many golden nuggets here. Like literally so many. There's little words and phrases that just like my light bulbs went off, and just there's so much richness here. I want to thank you so much for coming here. But can you show us your book, your money keys?
Of
Can you?
course. Let me.
Yeah.
Okay. So the classic place to learn more about me would be themoneykeys.com. So TheMoneyKeys.com, The Money Keys. And this book, which you can get on our site or on Amazon, is a great simple spiritual classic that talks about what I call the 3 money traps and then the 3 money keys, which are your spirituality, beliefs, and habits. So that's a good, especially if you're on the journey of creating a new money story and you're a reader and you're a studier, this book is written with that classic. At the end of every chapter, there's reflection, questions, and actions.
Oh.
And then I do, for the people who are business owners, particularly if you're a healer coach and you want to make a difference and make money, the 4-part video series, it's very good content, and you'll see myself and Robert doing a sincere job of doing a 4-part video training, and then we make an offer that's very classy. But check it out. So that's at unconsciousmoneymistakes.com, unconsciousmoneymistakes.com, and we'll be sure to put that into the
Yeah, it's already there, you guys. The link is already there. Check that out. And you didn't mention this. I hope it's okay to share this part, but I would love, can you talk about AWE? Because
absolutely. Yeah.
Great
so the place where I'm in the faculty of is the Academy of Women Emerging, which is a women entrepreneurial program that is led by Reverend Cynthia James and her business partner, Jean Hendry. So it is a holistic, it's money plus your self-care, plus your marketing, plus your leadership. So that is a full 10-month program with
Yeah.
a large group faculty, and I'm the money and business model expert there.
Oh.
So if you go to Academy of Women Emerging, if
Yeah.
you look for that, I think you'll be delighted.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. I love all of it. I just received so much from you.
This was fun. This was fun. And I really want to honor you for the fact that you are talking your walk as you're on this journey is like, it's helping you, but it is helping everybody. So
Oh, yeah. I realized that my money issues and my money problems are probably very similar to many people. So I'm very open about it, and I think the healing comes when we bring it into the light, and we are able to talk about it. So you have brought so much just wisdom and information and knowledge. You are so amazing. Thank you so much, Reverend Karen. For those of you guys that are here, check out all of the links for Reverend Karen. Get the book. Check out the program AWE if you are a woman entrepreneur. These women who are running this program are people that I can vet for you. They are, and they're not sleazy. Let me tell you, because I have this thing right now. I'm very, very sensitive to big business group coaching programs right now that promise you 6 or 7 Ks, and really it's not meant for you. Like, I've spent upwards of 50,000, 75,000 on this, and it makes me want to barf. So check out that program if you are an entrepreneur looking to grow your business and mostly, have that relationship with spirit. And for those of you guys that want to get even some more free training, I am doing the Divine Confidence Masterclass coming up soon. This is where we are going to talk about the 3 pillars of divine confidence that are essential to overcoming your self-doubt and insecurities in a very consumer capitalist culture that thrives off of our fears and insecurities. All the links are in the bio, in the show notes. Reverend Karen, you just fucking rock. Am I allowed to say that? I just did. I love you so much. And everybody, we'll see you guys soon. Thank you.